Welcome to another edition of Insurance Questions Podcast. This is actually Questions Podcast 65. But on Tuesdays, what is it on Tuesday? It's episode 3 of Sarah. What is it?
Tax Questions Podcast? Did I
Why
say
do you
that right?
it's a question? This is your show, kid. I'm just gonna introduce you and sit back and make faces at you.
When is that different from any other podcast that we've done?
That's true.
If everybody notices, there's a little bit different setup today. We are using a new provider to tape our podcast. We have teamed up with Rumi. It's not Rumi, Don, even though you said that. It's not Rumi. It's RUMI, but it's you get your head out of the gutter, Donnie Lowe. Because you know a guy. All right.
I thought we'd get a free bottle of rum every time we broadcast something.
So what's really cool about it is that not only I think the quality is a little bit better, it's easier to use, and we are going to have AI watching everything we do, meaning not only are we going to have a transcript of the show that'll be available on Patreon for our listeners, but we'll also have really nice synopsises. Synopsises, is that a word?
Synopsis.
Is that like Snuffleupagus? Synopsis. Isn't that Big Bird's friend? Synopsises?
That's too
Sure,
big for
yes.
me.
The big elephant. Yeah.
It'll give you a nice synopsis of the show when we're posting things, whether it's on one of our audio sites or one of our video sites. Because, once again, let's get some house cleaning done. The views and what are the views and what? The opinions by Sassy Sarah, Donnie Lowe, and Eddie Buffalo are purely for entertainment purposes. There we go.
Thank you.
So I'm going to shut up because, ladies and gentlemen, the hostess with the mostest, the sassiest of all,
Yes.
Sassy Sarah. Woo!
And also
Clap for
like,
yourself.
subscribe, follow, do all the things on all the places.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
more you guys like and subscribe and comment, if you can comment, because it depends on which platform you're on, the more we're going to be able to provide you better content and better things. Like, for example, Rumi reached out. They're an amazing. So far, everything looks amazing. You'll hear from me. I'm not a fan of AI. I think it's going to take over the world. I like to have the whole
You hear
matrix.
that, Sean? Because I know you're watching.
I'm just
Sarah thinks
saying,
you're creepy.
I grew up with the Matrix and all those weird conspiracies and Terminator and stuff like that. That's just how my mind works. But anyways, it's still great. Like, it'll give you synopsis of the conversations as you're going through it, and then at the end, it's amazing.
It's funny. I had a meeting with Sean this morning, and as we were having the meeting, it's just auto-populating what we've been talking about, like every few minutes.
It's scary.
Like according to this, I don't know if you guys can see it on your side, but it says AI doesn't start until we're like 3 minutes in.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But okay, I'm done.
That is it.
Sarah has a fantastic subject she wants to talk about.
Yes.
Sounds kind of
Because
shit.
I'm a nerd, I'm going to throw in some history in it. And I've had enough coffee that I actually have energy this morning. So, February, hold on, let me go to my notes. February 3rd, 1973 or 1913, the 16th Amendment was created. And I'm going into this. Give me a moment.
How old were you
Basically,
then? How old were you then? 20 something?
I was old enough to be enforced by the 16th Amendment because I know what that amendment is.
Oh,
and whatever. For those who don't know, it basically allows Congress to enact the income tax. And they don't really, I'm summarizing it a whole heck of a lot, but basically they don't have to determine it based on population. And that's kind of where everything started. And the reason I wanted to start with that is because it led to Al Capone actually being captured and convicted on 11 counts of tax evasion. So the premise of this show, because again, I'm a big nerd,
how to
you
cheat
have
on
to
your taxes.
you have to report all income, even on illegal activity. Now,
How is that even a thing?
because it's a thing. It's the IRS. They want their share. Like, Just because it's
But
illegal,
they
they
don't
don't
care where you got
care.
it from? Hmm.
So here's the thing, though, but you also have to think about it. Marijuana sales. Some states see it as legal, others don't, but it's still classified illegal at the federal level. They still have to report those sales. But if
Huh.
you
That's really
supposedly,
interesting.
I'm not telling you to go steal cars or do illegal activity, but if you were to steal a car, sell it, get money for it, or any other activity that is against the law, you're supposed to report that income. And there is actually a spot where it's called other income, and you don't have to go into detail.
Ah,
So
Interesting fact.
basically, if I was a private dancer, a dancer for money, I would have to report that.
Private dancers aren't illegal unless you're doing other things than dancing.
Hey, whatever happens, happens, you know?
You are
let's
so
not go there. Let's not
No, we're
visualize
not. I
this.
shouldn't have even commented. I know the rabbit hole he's going to end up going into.
So, a quick question
Like
then.
and subscribe if you want to hear more about private dancing for money.
No. We might save that for a Patreon thing that you can just make all these kind of jokes for. We're not going to subject the normal public. Stop it.
So if I go to the casino and I win $10,000,
Hmm.
that's something that I have to report as other income
Well,
Don't they
that's
without
automatically
saying,
actually
give you a form though?
gambling is completely different. And yes, you do have to report the income if you win and if you lose. So that let's say you go, I actually have a few clients, they love going to the casino. Let's say you go win $1 million and you lose $2 million, you can only write off the 1 million in loss that covers how much you won. So it doesn't really help you there. If you love to gamble, I say gamble. Just don't lose your house in the process or destroy your life. But just if you, I mean, it's up to you. I'm just telling you, don't go down that horrible. But I've seen
right,
some people, they just love to gamble, and I see the numbers come across, and I'm like, you did really well. Something else is to think about is different states, like Oklahoma, you have to pay the state tax. So if you do gamble, also have the taxes come out, federal and state. Otherwise, you have to pay it at tax time, and you're not going to like those, depending on how much you win.
sure, sure.
Can I ask you about something, Sarah? And I haven't thought about this in a while. When I was back home, I was a big supporter of the University of Buffalo, the Division I sports program.
Mm-hmm.
One of my best friends, Nick Moyes, is actually the head trainer for the football team. And me and Allison, my daughter, went to a doubleheader. And what it was the opening I think it was the opening of the basketball season. And then right after that, football game. And usually they have a 50-50. You've seen that at sporting events and that. And with,
Sure. Um,
well, Donnie knows. Come on, Donnie knows it. So they combined the thing.
mhm.
And your buddy Eddie Buffalo won $8,600.
Mhm.
Awesome.
So when
Don't
I
tell me what year. Do not incriminate
no,
yourself
no,
and say
no,
that you
no, no.
didn't
I
report
just want
those
to say
income.
it was a really weird form they gave me, Sarah. They said it
Mhm.
was the same type of tax form they use for like bingo winnings and like stuff at churches and that. So what exactly is that? And what is the limit on that you have to declare it?
There is no limit. If you win anything, and you even if you don't get that form, I think it's a 1099-G for gambling. If you don't get the form, you still have to report it.
That's
Because what
interesting.
happens is wherever you're playing, if it's legal, like if you're doing backdoor poker games, they may not put that information in there. I'm telling you, it would be best to do that so you don't go down like Al Capone, depending on how much you gamble. But they have to report it, like a casino or racetracks, if you love the horses, whatever the case may be, they report it to the federal government and to the state government. So you still have to keep track of everything. Typically, if you don't get that special form, or they only provide it for winnings, they don't provide it if you lose. You have to go and say, hey, this is on my account. I want to see all my winnings and losing for this year. And then you provide that to your accountant to put onto the return.
So let me wrap my head around this, okay? I do something illegal. I have a windfall of $20,000 from doing something illegal. I claim it, and then I get arrested for doing that illegal thing. Can I say, hey, it must be okay because I paid my taxes on it? That
So you don't, if you're doing illegal activity, we'll use marijuana sales because, like I said, that's split between legal and illegal depending on where you're at. Um, and for the record, Al Capone went down for bootlegging. So just we're going to pick something that's legal and not legal at the same time. Basically, you can say, hey, I made this much in sales and paying in taxes, but you don't specify, like, I'm doing marijuana sales in XYZ, because technically at the federal level, it's illegal and you can be raided and the government take all your stuff. Will they? Chances are no, because they're trying to fix it at the federal level, but that's just, and that's another reason they were looking into the Zelle payments with the $600 if it's over that amount, because they know a lot of people are skirting tracking that income and actually reporting it because, oh yeah, no, I just sent my friend $1,200. Nobody's sending friends $1,200. Like, there's an exchange in something, whether it's pet sitting services, daycare services, etc.
Well, in that regard, as an example, for I play tennis, and we've got like a big group of guys.
Dennis.
Don't hear me out here. Oh my goodness.
Sorry, I'm
So
gonna be picking on you real quick.
we've got like somebody, like he says he's the manager, so he coordinates all the guys that are going to play, the schedule, and the payments that we would pay to the club. But what we do is we Venmo or Zelle our whatever it's going to cost us to play for the season to one person, and then they submit one payment to the club. So we're not paying him personally for anything. It's just to organize it, and then he sends those monies right to the club.
Right. So in that kind of a situation, it's you have to prove to the IRS no one's keeping that income. And that's essentially what they're looking for, which is
Mm-hmm.
why a lot of people, accountants say keep your receipts if you run a business. Because I know a lot of people, I'm not going to keep receipts. I'm going to show my bank statement or my credit card statement. But if you do that, you can open yourself up for more questions, which is why we always say get a receipt. A receipt is, hey, what is this charge? This is the charge. They don't go further from that. But if you provide a bank statement, oh, here's the charge. Oh, wait, there's a charge here. What's that all about?
Where's that income from? Where's
Yes.
that from?
So as long as you can say, hey, we're sending this money, he's sending it here, they will start looking into your friend. But as long as he can show where he's sending the money, it closes it really quick. And I just want to say, on the right hand side of my
Snitches,
screen,
yes,
I have
stitches.
the whatever. I have the AI feed, and
Are
it's
you
doing
watching
like,
it too?
I'm watching it. It's amazing. So, like, for example, it gave me an update on Insight. Gambling winnings must be reported for tax purposes, regardless if a form is received, covering both federal and state obligations. See, I can do the voice too. That's pretty cool.
And
But then
see,
it
you want to yank
also,
it up first. You hear Sean? She's a convert, Sean. We're good. We got her.
yeah, it's really awesome. I think this is cool because it provides insight as well as catch up. So catch up is at the very
I don't like
beginning, and
ketchup.
I'm using
I
this
only like
because Rumi is going to be hopefully a sponsor, and they have such cool things. So in this podcast episode, the host introduced a new collaboration with Rumi for improved podcast quality and AI features, including transcripts and summaries
yank.
for Patreon listeners.
See,
And it
and you
keeps
didn't
going.
think you'd
I'm,
like
I'm not going to
this.
read the whole thing, but I think that's really freaking awesome. So
That's language. Gosh darn it. So okay, so you guys think I just sit here and do nothing. I start thinking of weird things. Okay, so when Donnie has his back room poker rooms back in Williamsville, and his buy-in is brick of gold, okay, and he goes and he takes in all these bricks of gold. Does he got to? How do you claim gold on your taxes?
gold has a monetary value, and it would be the same way as if it was cash.
Or what if it's just
The same way as Bitcoin, the same way as stocks and bonds. When it's sold, you'd still figure it out.
Mm. So like back in the
Does that
day when
answer
your
your
mom
question?
and dad were running numbers back in Williamsville, did they claim taxes on that, Donnie? I don't think so.
Don't answer that. Don't answer
I
that.
know not of what you speak.
Um, so just for people to know, the IRS will go back and audit records typically 3 years. Typically, if they think that there's fraud, they can go back indefinitely. Usually, it's not more than 6. It just depends on how ingrained they think the fraud is. So, even joking wise, would not. I would say just plead the fifth and not say anything, Donnie. Don't go into that.
Smart. You don't say nothing. You don't say nothing, Donnie. You keep your mouth
Don't
shut, all
say
right?
nothing.
Don't say
Although
anything.
we're not providing legal, insurance, or tax advice. This is for
Just
entertainment purposes only.
between you and your Lord, what you got to do is right.
Consult your attorney for legal advice and your accountant for accounting advice.
Yes.
If you want to
Yes.
stash some cash, you go see Donnie Lowe. He'll take care of you.
Oh my goodness.
I had a guy I used to work with used to say that all the time. I'm like, no, you can't say that. Oh my gosh. I don't see anything about the gold yet. Sarah, are you still reading it too?
Yeah. It hasn't come
We
up
get
yet.
updates every like 3 minutes, I think. So it's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it seems like that.
Yeah, and it
So
gives you the markers of the time of when it started.
working.
So freaking awesome. So freaking awesome.
So we got anything else you want to talk about? Donnie?
I do
Speak
have
up.
another one.
Let's hear it.
Okay. So this goes back into the original podcast. And basically, um, everything is built off of the tax code the IRS has, and then it's backed up by case law. So you'll get differing opinions depending on how that case law is done. You can also pay to get something called I can't remember. It's a personal letter from the IRS saying, hey, this is what I want to do. And they'll go through the case law and tell you if it's approved or not. Um, Thousands of dollars to do. It's very expensive. But if you're ever questioning if something is the legal route, you can get that judgment from the IRS. And then if you're audited, that was not what I wanted to talk about, but that's just interesting fact. And I wanted to talk about in
Keep on
1961.
task, sis. Keep on task. All
No, because
right.
that's a really cool fact that not a lot of people know, that the IRS will actually tell you if something's
And
capable of
knowing's
doing
half
it.
the battle.
And no one's half the
Sarah
battle.
stuff.
Yay. No, in 1961, there's case law, James versus United States, that actually made it to where embezzlers are required to include their ill-gotten gains.
This is
So if you
insane. You're
embezzle
making this stuff
money,
up, Sarah.
you
You're
have to
making it.
report it on your IRS on your tax return.
Oh, I was working at a
It's
church and they
mind-boggling.
gives me
It's hilarious.
$100,000 as long as Jesus is okay as long as I claimed it. That doesn't make any sense. I think you're making
I
it
know.
up.
You would think that they could use it against you, but you don't have to report where you got the money. You just say, "Hey, I got the money."
I got the money.
I
Yeah, I've
got
heard
the
Donnie Lowe say that.
money.
Hey, Eddie, I got the money. Where'd you get the
Ironically, Sarah, there's a case in
Don't worry
Buffalo.
about
Oh, listen to he's on a roll today. There's a
it.
case in Buffalo where this
Don't name
woman,
names, Donnie. I'm
no,
serious.
this woman was accused of embezzling like hundreds of thousands of dollars from
Over a short period of
a
time, I was
church,
reading that.
a medical office in Buffalo, a medical office in Rochester, and she just went on like elaborate spending sprees, taking friends on cruises, going gambling,
Mm-hmm.
Is that why
and
you
she
had all the money to go to Florida?
and she fled the area, and they found her, and I think in one of the Carolinas.
So it is not uncommon for that to happen, especially in the nonprofit world. I've actually worked for a nonprofit. I'm not going to name the nonprofit, where the president was using the personal, like, so much. He was abusing his ability of being president. And they actually had him removed from that. But there was one job. Oh my God, it was hilarious. Not going to name that job either. But we had the U.S. Marshals come and arrest him because he had a warrant that was sealed for stealing money from
Oh,
a company in California. Like he already had that done. and they sealed it so when they ran a background check, it wouldn't show up and he'd get hired. The thing is he was there for like 5-6 months and he was stealing money. When he processed payroll, he would go into the file before sending it to the bank and change the
Yeah.
numbers. It would have been caught tax time and reconciliations, which is why a lot of places, even small companies, need to put checks and balances in place to make sure one person doesn't go over all the money. For example, he did the reporting, he did the financial statements, he did the payroll. So that's one place. And then you can catch embezzling before it gets to the $100,000
Yeah.
mark. And most business insurances also have that feature. The problem is then you don't get as much money. Then you have to go through the court system to get the rest of your money through restitution if that person can pay.
Mm.
I wish our listeners could see what we can see. Did you look in the bottom, Sarah? It actually talks about the James versus United States case that you were talking about. That's just well, educational now. Let me tell you what.
Oh, yes.
You
All
don't need
my
Katie.
years during the 2020s where I taught introductory accounting classes. I I hate learning stuff when I'm
Very
forced to learn
awful
stuff,
word.
but I love learning stuff when it interests me. I'm
Yeah.
weird.
Well, I'm 100%. Like, I've even talked to you and Donnie about this. If it's something that you guys want me to do, and I'm like, and I don't really want to do it. I don't do it. But if it's something that I really like, I'm gonna do it right away.
Yes.
Yes. Do you want to work today? Nah, not really.
Yeah, not really, Donnie.
Since getting back from vacation, I'm like that. And I told Robin, I was like, I think I need a few months off. Like I'm
A few
just
months.
tired.
Well, I gotta tell you, Sarah's usually a chipper person, and she's always got 10 million stories to tell me. The past 2 days, it's like, how you doing? She's a tired girl.
I am. So I had to go to, this is my secret. I used to go to Starbucks and get a really strong coffee. There's this new coffee place. Eddie, you need to reach out and see if they want to do a sponsorship. It's called
Was
Bunch
it?
Bros.
I don't like
And
the coffee.
no. I get this one. It's called 911. I only get it when I'm super tired. It is 6 espresso shots. I do not drink it in one day or one sitting. It lasts me multiple days because that's a lot of freaking coffee. But I sip on it and you feel the instant. It's amazing.
Sarah, are you looking at the bottom of the screen, what it says?
I am. That's awesome.
That's
It's my
incredible.
niece, SarahMcCutcheonAdvisory.com. Yes.
Mhm. So we got a bunch of exciting things to talk about tomorrow. So make sure everybody tunes in. This has been a really interesting show, and thank you, both of you, for being patient with this new technology. I think it's going to be fantastic. I think our listeners are really going to like the extra content we'll be able to. Oh, what did you do?
I did a laughing emoji. How cool is that? So just for the listeners to know, Donnie and Eddie were playing with this before. I, of course, wait until I'm on screen.
And Donnie, look at his background. Where are you right now? You're redoing your basement? That's what it looks like.
I'm in my home office.
So we tried to do like a background, but for whatever reason, oh, there goes Sarah. Now you're like half your head's disappearing though.
I know. I want to know what is the beauty filter? They were playing with that before.
Sarah, you don't need a beauty filter. You're
I do
beautiful.
not. That's why I'm always number one when you
You
put
look pretty
stuff.
sexy today, Donnie. I gotta say.
I will say the one thing that Rumi can do is when you're looking at the virtual backgrounds, if it can move off to the side to where you can see your photo and you can see the different backgrounds. That's my
That'd be
only
a good
feedback.
idea.
Other than that, this thing
You
is
hear that,
amazing.
Sean? She didn't like you, but now she likes you and she's asking for stuff. See
I
how it
am
goes?
asking for stuff. I'm
Welcome
very
to my
demanding.
world, Sean. Welcome to my world.
I think we're on our time limit.
We are
Yeah.
going to wrap this up for Donnie Lowe, Sassy Sarah. I'm your buddy Eddie Buffalo. Thank you for tuning in to episode 3 of Tax Questions Podcast. And what do they need to do, Sarah?
Like, subscribe, follow, do all the things, all the things.
So, and please just tune in tomorrow for episode 66. What's our topic tomorrow, Donnie? We got to do part 2 of our one from last week. Do you remember what we were talking about? Does anybody pay attention?
Annuities?
I never pay
No.
attention.
Oh, remember Sarah was our customer?
Oh yes, that's right.
Fact finder, stuff like
Yep.
that.
Yep.
God,
You
what would
know
you
what I'm
guys
going
do?
to find really
What would
funny
you do
is
that?
if the
Huh?
hold on. So I'm going to find it really funny because I just said underneath my breath that I never pay attention, and I want to see it come out on the AI feed. Sarah never pays attention.
I'm
That would
talking
be
about your Dutch
hilarious.
brothers right up there. The
Yep.
911.
Sarah, it came up about 10 minutes ago that you never pay attention. It already pre-thought what you were thinking.
Oh man.
You're ahead already. All
I
right, we're out of here, guys. Thanks again, everybody, for and once again, like we always say, if you enjoy working with people that are just like you, we're the ones to come to. You can reach us all at www.ebiagency.com. You'll find the partner page where Sassy Sarah's McCutcheon Advisory is there right up top. And Donnie Lowe, you gonna stay out of jail today?
I'm gonna try.
This wasn't a to-do list for you. It's what not to do.
want to do.
What
Just
not
saying.
to do.
All right, everybody, stay safe out there until we meet again. Take care.
Ciao.
I don't know if I'm turning it off. Hang